All right, so this just happened. Georgia is a 1.5 point favorite at Texas. So I'm not. I thought they'd be favored. I wasn't really sure, but this line's come out in the. I don't know, maybe in the last 5 or 6 days. I've just not. I check these things every now and then just to see what's kind of going on. And you see right here, I'll put it on the screen, where the Dogs are just a narrow favorite um, over Texas. I mean, I think that's pretty substantial moment here. Right here it is down here. We've talked about some of these other games, but them being a 1.5 point favorite on the road against a Texas team that's pretty good. That's something else. There's certainly going to be a lot of, I don't know if pressure is the right way to put it. There's certainly going to be a lot of expectation that this is a good Georgia team. The Horns are the third. The bet in terms of betting favorites, Texas is number 3 at 700. Georgia's odds continue to go up. So do Ohio State's on this front. I bet Carson Beck. Yeah, Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck both are the leading Heisman candidates right now. I mean, and then Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, and then Jalen Milroe has fallen backwards pretty significantly. He was also a favorite, and then Nick Saban left. That has really messed with the betting markets. Nick's departure has changed a lot of different stuff on that front. But in terms of Georgia getting giving a 1.5 on the road, whenever you're a road favorite, that means you are clearly the better team. But clearly is perhaps a one adjective, but you're the better team or you wouldn't be favored, right? I mean, it's on the road. You don't have to consider things. I mean, if Texas were a 1 or 2 point favorite team at home, you'd still say Georgia's the better team. But if you're on the road and you're favored, it's clear they feel like you're the better team. Now, how much better is the question? That's what it's February now. So the season is going to be here quicker than you think. And, this game in particular is going to be one of the marquee games of the season in college football. I'm not sure why this game hasn't already been, slated for prime time, because I'm not certain that's where it will be, but I'm all but certain that that's where it will be because, why are you paying all this money to put Texas, Georgia on at 3:30? They're going to put it on ABC at night. And I think I'm just waiting to see that, pop up and be announced. Probably won't be announced for some time, but we'll just see. That they already announced Georgia Bama when they did, not knowing that Nick would retire. Still, I mean, Georgia Alabama has been a big game for a long time because they just never play. But I think Georgia Texas should be a very curious matchup for everybody involved. I mean, this will be a monumental affair for sure. So I think it will be at night. I'm kind of talking about nothing right now. Sorry about that. But I getting back to the fact that this game is Georgia being a 1 point favorite, a 1.5 point favorite. Yeah, I mean that's Las Vegas is quite clearly saying very loudly that they think that Georgia's the best team because they're getting of the 4 teams who are the betting favorites to win the national championship. Georgia's one of them. They played the other two. And they play the other two of the other 3 that are remaining. They play both of them on the road, and they're favored. Would they be favored over Ohio State in Columbus? I don't think they would. But what can I say? Hey, our Eco Poly Porch Rocker. These are very comfortable chairs. I sit in Eco Poly every single day when I make these videos, and I just work around the office here. Make sure you're checking that out. 20-year warranty. I don't know what's better, the 20-year warranty or that this is made of completely recycled plastics in the heart of Georgia. down in Dodge County and Eastman. And part of me thinks it's a 20-year warranty, but it may just be the comfort that you get from sitting in the chairs, and the fact that you can customize these chairs to exactly what you want. And I've got red and black ones to show y'all. I sit in this every day. This is like I'm like the weatherman right now. I can't really show you exactly like I'm not used to being the weatherman, but yeah, I mean, going to Texas, I think is going to be. By that point, we'll know with UT and Georgia just exactly where they both are at. Um, this is a moment in time where in the before Georgia plays the Gators, you're at a logical stopping point in the season. So there's sort of an ebb and there's a crest of the season. You can feel this thing. So you're going to start with Clemson, then you're going to roll into Alabama, and then you've got games in between there. But then the Texas game, week off, Gators, and then you've got Ole Miss and the close of the season, which will involve Georgia Tech and Tennessee. It's a challenging schedule for sure, but when I look at, the 80 plus players on scholarship over here in the chart, they're well positioned to win all of these games. Texas did lose some really good players, but I mean Georgia lost really good players too, so they both are losing that. And UT, of course. They're the only team coming back from the college football playoff with their head coach in tow. Everybody else, there's been, musical chairs or someone shuffled around here, there, and the other where. But I've never been to Darrell K. Royal Stadium. I don't know what it's like. I'm sure it's very loud. I know it's big, but it's not going to be any different necessarily than playing at Neyland, which means or playing in Tuscaloosa. You know what it's going to be like. Now, no one here has played at Death Valley yet. That is probably the toughest place to play. But Neyland's pretty close. So all of these things will add up to they will have already played at Alabama before they go to play at Texas. So they will have played road games. I'm trying to think of who else they play on the road before then. I think it's just... that's this season at Auburn. That would definitely get you ready. Oh, they play at Kentucky. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the same. It's not. But you will be, by the time you get to Austin, you will be two road games and a neutral side, if you want to call Atlanta neutral, for the Clemson game. There will be some Clemson folks there for sure. You will have played, road games. I think the other thing that's kind of helpful, if you want to call it that, is that Georgia gets to go play at Kentucky to start the season rather than go play at Alabama to start the season. And the other thing about them playing and being a 1.5 point favorite on the road, what's remarkable about that is I don't think it comes across on television, and I don't know how many of y'all go to road games. So I go to every game, so I can tell you there is a very real difference in playing at home and on the road. And it's not necessarily just the crowd. The crowd causes communication issues. That's all. And the fact that you play on the road, for Georgia only 5 times a year, because one of them's a neutral. You got Kentucky, Tuscaloosa, Texas, and then you play in Oxford. You're playing in Atlanta and Jacksonville. So there are I think there are only 6 home games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So you're playing 6 homes, 2 neutrals, and 4 aways. The aways are different because of obviously the communication issue. And then there's, frankly, where are things at this stadium? Stuff like that. Now, when you're playing on the field, that doesn't necessarily matter. Once you're out there, you're out there. But, there's some pregame stuff. I mean, they've been to Commonwealth. They've been to... But I think Commonwealth's the only one that this team has played at as a team. I mean, Carson Beck went to Tuscaloosa, but he didn't play. So most of the, and Carson's, Tate Ratledge, Arian Smith, Lindbergh, Brinson, and Stackhouse are the only guys who were in the program when they played Alabama on the road the last time. So, and by the way, Alabama, Alabama will have not played a home game with a legitimate crowd against Georgia since 2007 when they play this game. And we don't know what the schedule will be like in the near future, but Georgia has not played Alabama at home since 2015. So that's almost 10 years. And the fact that, we're coming on 20 years since they played at Tuscaloosa in a legitimate game. I'm like, that's not good. Like these teams should be playing against each other at Bryant-Denny and at Sanford, or Bryant-Denny Saban, whatever we're going to call it one of these days. That should be happening a little bit more often. I mean, I don't care about Missouri or Texas A&M. They don't matter to me at all. And that you're not playing Alabama but once a decade on your campus, that's bad. That's bad for the SEC. It's bad for the schools. It's bad for college football. And I'm going to rant just for a second here, because we went a long time with the SEC playing 6 conference games, and Georgia and Alabama would play one another more often at their homes than they did here lately. We've gotten into a very destructive, even when they went to divisions, these two teams played one another more often than they did. I mean, you think about 94-95 with Bama, Georgia. You think about 02-03. It was about every 6-ish seasons that you'd play home and away. Well, now it's like every 20. So it's just not acceptable. It's just not acceptable to have that happen. 07-08 is the last time these two teams have played a back-to-back against each other in the regular 07-08, y'all. That's 16 and 8 and 17 years. It's too long to have two premier, at worst, top 10 programs, at worst, 2 top 10 programs not playing each other. I mean, like, that's absolutely nuts that you would have that. And they play in the same league. So we need to see it more often. And I think we will. But anyway, the Dogs 1.5 favorite over Texas. What do you think about that?